Anyway, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Al Bob. I want to thank you for all the support that you give me spiritually and on my PayPal. And if you want to drop anything in there, you can. And when they ask you what email, it's thedudewake42 at gmail. I want to thank you again. And again, in my car, in a parking lot, by the side of the highway. And so this will be a short one. Earlier last year, and around December or Christmas time, I was telling you folk who watch that 2021 was going to make 2020 just woo. And actually, that's going to be for the next, I'd say, at least 10 years or so. And because a lot of things are coming to a head, and all of the distraction and separation and confusion and chaos that is being manufactured is to keep us from looking up in the sky. And I'm no astronomer, but I know that things are changing, and one of them is the sun is really having, solar activity in ways that it has had, in recent times, in the last 150 years, since the last X-flare hit Earth, which was just after the Civil War, just when we were militarizing, conquering North America and putting the railroads from east to west, and along with that came the telegraph wire and the telephone wire, and we were just getting into that kind of electric technology when an X-flare hit us and just fried everything. Now, we had nothing to fry, but what was quite interesting is out in the west, where they had these long stretches of railroad tracks, two big metal things on, 4 feet apart and going across. Well, the X-flare hit it and turned them, into north and south, and it bent those railroad tracks up like spaghetti, and during the Gilded Age, we had an event called the mud flood that, pretty much killed a quarter of the world's population, and we hear nothing about it. If you want to back your way into it, mud flood and the orphan trains, because these catastrophes happened, geologic ones, and San Francisco earthquake is a good example. I mean, it was two, and the same thing with the Chicago fire. There were two of them, and one was because the first one was when Chicago was like a boom town and it was made out of wood, and it had a wind coming off the lake, and someone did kick over a lantern, and yes, the place burnt down. But about 30 years later, after the Civil War, and Chicago was really a big urban center of industry, and it was mostly made out of steel and concrete, something happened that obliterated, like a nuclear weapon, Chicago. And a good person, there's a thing called the Fordian Society. Charles Fordo was the science editor of the Herald Tribune, and he was there, and and it wasn't just Chicago. It was within a 500-mile circumference of Chicago. Other counties and cities got obliterated too. So it was something like an asteroid or a comet or something that kind of came, either brushed by or hit that neck of the woods, and the Fortean Society. So once he saw that, and then the media, they wouldn't print his stuff. They had photographs and everything. He started the Fortean Society to look at odd things that occur, like all the giants, red-haired giants that they found. And so um, basically, there's a author named Whitley Strieber, right, who basically you should go read his stuff because as he published them, for his first book was Communion about abduction. Then he had a whole bunch more, and the other two I like is 2012. His take on that was very interesting, and his he has another one called Grays, and that's a very interesting. And so all of this that is coming on us right now. Um, and a lot of people are asking me, how do I meditate? And what about pole shifts? And yeah, these are, the poles are shifting. They always shift, but the events that we are seeing are a lot more catastrophic. And they're all of them are being played way down. So the dynamic is that to meditate, people, I can't meditate, I can't quiet my mind. Well, that's the first big mistake. You don't quiet your mind. What you do is you quiet your body. So you lower your blood pressure, you lower you increase your breath, you get more oxygen into your body, you sit in a comfortable position, and you let everything that's, the squirrel in your brain, you let them out, and so this thing comes, you just move it to the side. This thing comes, move it to the side. This thing comes, you keep emptying, evacuating. We go back to the first year. I did a lot of guided meditations, and they seem to help a lot of people, right? And that was when I was living at the school, and we had the best. John still does have the best internet in the universe, and you know, um, I was able to do long YouTubes and do long guided meditations and etc. So, but I'm deciding, because I have limited time in these places. A lot of the places that I go to use their Wi-Fi, they only give you a half an hour and then they knock you off. And so, like the library, you'd think they'd let you stay there as long, no. So the story of the old crone, was that I've had many, many teachers all my life. I've been sculpted to be what people wanted me to be. And when I, was sent to Dublin to the Irish State Theatre, and they said, "Hey, you can't even speak Gaelic, so we're going to send you off to school," which they did, which was much better. They sent me off to Trinity, and they put me in this very interesting department, which was like everything, meaning I just read books in the library. They gave me a pass to the special library and gave me a carrel, and I was able to just poke around. And then I had a guide named Archie, who was one of the first people. In the 1890s, he was writing about the stuff that Sitchin writes about, and he said he was all about how pyramids were all over the planet and that they were energy devices, right? And the Earth, way back when, was a military base, and the whole planet was a weapon, and the pyramids were a collecting device that concentrated all of that energy on the ley lines into a cohesive and conducted, um, you know, destructive force, like a laser beam, but on a galactic scale. And Earth is still that, and that's why and it was put up by the Ares, the king of war, and Gob, the king of gold and excess. Gob's the guy we see. This constant picture of what we think the great um, you know leader is, and he's up in the clouds wearing a sheet, sitting on a gold toilet, crapping on everybody. And that isn't the great maker. The great maker is love. Love's co-creation. We are in the process of a work in progress. When Moses was talking to the burning bush, Moses was smart enough to say, so what's your name? And the burning bush didn't say, I am who I am. That's Popeye. No. Basically, the burning bush said, I'm a work in progress, and you are my mirror. I look at you to see where I need to go. And so I basically was brought to the crone, and she came to me in the library and invited me up to her farm in the mountains of Western Ireland, along the coast, near between Galway and Skibbereen. And I've told you the story how I met her. Just go back a few. This is a series of the old crone, and I basically explained that quite clearly. And then the trip going to her place, and then getting at her farm the first night, the first day, the first week, and she put me on a regiment of learning. First through work. We woke up in the morning, had an Irish breakfast. Blood sausage, eggs, really great bread, honey, coffee, and the first pot of tea, which was an herbal tea that made you strong as a bull, and you could work. And so I did that, and I work, and she'd leave me a little basket of bread and cream and fruit jams and a little bit of ambrosia that I could spread on the bread and a couple of hard-boiled eggs, and off to work I'd go. And I would work until about 1 o'clock when the sun would rise. And because we were really high up there, no matter what time of the year, if you were out in that sun, it would kind of toast you up. So we would have, our middle meal, which was supper, and the rich take it a little closer to 4, and they call it tea. And then so we ate, and we kind of ate, kind of relaxed, and had the second pot of tea, which enabled one to learn things. It sharpened your intellect. And so she would give me just like she gave me physical chores to fix this, chop that, harvest this. She would give me things to read, right? And so she had her big library, and it had a carrel on one side, and I had a carrel right next to hers. And she would put books there for me to read. And in my little carrel, there's my desk, and then the long desk to put papers and books out, and then a nice little comfy, cozy a bunch of chairs around a nice little stove, and that stove was a very similar to when I did a ethnography on the Biltmore House in Asheville. That's what brought me to Asheville. Me and this lady and a couple other people, we basically photographed and made a database of everything in there, because the Biltmore Astor family kind of, married into other families. And then by 1991, when I got there, it was basically trailer trash living there. And they had no idea what was in there. And they were just, using the Louis XIV armoire as a hockey net. And their fireplaces were all of these Gilded Age devices that were left over from before the mud flood, which were left over from way back when what Tesla discovered. They used wireless transmission of energy, and the kind of tapping the energy of the grid, of the ley lines, right? Now, I was telling people about someone asked me, because I was talking about different dimensional energies, and that at the end of a large alternating polyphase alternating current generator, there are fields at the torsion fields, and what those are pressure fields. And as you put pressure on these two fields, you are putting pressure on the ether, the thing that separates the, in string theory, you know, um, we have parallel universes that are just, like bubbles in a stein of beer, that froth. Those are all different universes right next to each other. So the ether kind of keeps them from like mushing into each other. And if you can put force on those two things, there is that ether that you can tap unlimited current, and that's 0 point energy. And so before, in the Gilded Age and before the Mud Flood, and Nikola Tesla, and other people, Brown and Beer, there are a lot of people who've discovered this, and usually they get taken away or given a lot of money to do whatever the heck they want, but kept away from the general public. So that's where we're at. We're at this kind of transition point from this caveman, because everything, we think we're the top of the heap. We are so human centric. We look at the earth as a big box store to just rip and tear and do as what we want, but no, it's not that, right? So that was why I was brought to the old crone, to see, and so the first week or two, we, work hard, learn a lot. And I kept being every day in every way kind of brushed up against what most people would say disbelief. Oh, I can't believe that. Goes against what I believe. Well, I was brought up not to believe in anything, and by so many different people and so many different disciplines and so many great intellects. My grandma, the Catholic Church, the Council on Foreign Relations, and then a lot of individuals. My godfather, Cardinal Cushing, who he basically, man, underneath St. Patrick's on Fifth Avenue, right across the street from Rockefeller Center. And what do you think Rockefeller put it there? Right across from underground of St. Patrick's is a catacombs of hidden stuff. Oh, Sandra, hey baby. And so that's what the old crone was showing me every day in every way, how to brush away disbelief and keep an open mind, and to persevere through whatever is the obstacle. And the obstacle only makes you stronger, right? And I've died 6 times. Each time it just makes me stronger in different ways, So I'm going to be talking about the different adventures the old crone and I had, right? So right now we're 18 minutes, yep, and 19 minutes. So the first adventure, so, weeks of, working on this, fixing that, learning this, learning that, learning to meditate deeper and to go into state, be able. I learned how to meditate early, but I used to put myself in a hypnagogic state. I used to just rub a sock against my bare leg, and it would put me out, into another place. When I would come back, I would have a sense of well-being and learning something, but I would not remember that state. But when, the old crone taught me how to, travel through my imaginary mirror, which is your subconscious, right here, right behind your eyes, right? You dream, like when you dream, you have rapid eye movement. That's your imaginary mirror. You're watching a movie. And so she taught me how to do it consciously, right? So you could conscious dream and conscious, do it. Go into state right here and now. Here, let's do that. And every day and every way, take the piece of the earth and make it stronger. See it clearly now. So you're in state now. If you had breathed in deep, brought in the prana into your bloodstream, right, which allowed you to connect to your chi, you'd have that open circuit, right? And that's how you get to your, and you go through your imaginary mirror, you see it in your closed eyes, and you see the image of that white light in front of you, and you walk through it, and bingo, there you are, into your subconscious. Subconscious, not a scary place. It is simply your library, your Akashic record, right? And you walk in, there's a big fireplace, right? And everything's made out of books. Even the fireplace is made out of books. Plus, it's what is the record of times, timeless time, dreamy dreamland time, and right in front of it is a nice little couch and easy chair. So if you have guests and they would come down the flue, just like Harry Potter, where do you think they got that? Boom, that's the transportation device, right? And the only flame burning in the fireplace is the blue flame of eternity, right? Eternal flame, right? And that is a connective tissue between your subconscious and your superconscious, right? And in between is your id, and your id is a bridge that goes from your subconscious to your superconscious. And we will do a guided meditation. Right now, the sun is hitting this car and heating it up pretty toasty. So, and I got things to do and people to see. So, I want you to practice this, right? And I will be back around 1:30. Okay, you got that? So, thanks again. And remember, if you want to send something to my PayPal, it's thedudeawake42@gmail. Thedudeawake42@gmail. Thanks everyone for sending me stuff. I really, it's been right now at the end of every month is when I have no money. I mean, to the point where I can't even put gas in the tank. But somebody sent me some money, and gas is expensive now. To fill up my tank cost me $45. I was like, what? Anyway. Again, other people are contacting me on my email, and that is thedudeawake42@gmail. Thedudeawake42@gmail. I don't know if it's all one thing or separated. You can try that out. Do I have it on here? No. Thedudeawake42@gmail. Thedudeawake42@gmail. Why don't you give it a try? I can't read. Guys, if you put everything in capitals, I can read it. What's her name? Oh, the last person who just chatted on the thing said, "I tried, can't to email you can't." thedudeawake42@gmail. thedudeawake42@gmail. Okay. Let me look at my phone to see what it says it is. Yeah, it seems to be all one thing. The dude awake, THEDUDEAWAKE 42@gmail. So, I mean, it's right there, and people are using it, so I assume it works. The dude awake 42@gmail. THEDUDEAWAKE 42. Everything lowercase. Okay. Okay, so I love you. I'll see you around 1:30ish. What time is it now? 11. So, sometime between 1:30 and 2 o'clock, let's say. Okay? And tomorrow I'm going to be in a place that I'll be able to luxuriate and be there as long as I want, and won't be, and be very Goldilocks, not too hot, not too cold. And I will tell, well, I'll tell you a little of the story this afternoon if I go on about the temporal rift waterfall that hit the the Great Link of the lake that's in front of her farmhouse. Okay. There it is. So let's say a little prayer. Bless us indeed, enlarge our territories. Put your hands upon our shoulders and keep us from evil, so we will do no harm. I hope.